What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of X3 Drop. I'm one of your hosts, Xell.
And I'm Ducky.
And today we're going to be talking about the new EB release, Extra Booster 2.
That's right. Coming up very, very soon. I think probably by the time this publishes, like in a few days, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping this comes out before the release of EB. But EB releases May 9th, which is this Friday. And it's supposed to be like the anniversary of the anime. So the 25th anniversary for the One Piece anime.
Yeah, because we did have the 25th anniversary for just the series in general about a year ago. We've already got that.
Oh, are we sneaking up on the... There's so many... They celebrate so many anniversaries in this game.
I like vaguely remember this because... Or vaguely is not the right word. Vividly remember this. Because I started playing the game when this collection had just come out. It was the collection...
First Extra Booster?
Not first Extra Booster. It was the 25th anniversary for the One Piece series. So I imagine the manga.
Okay.
Yeah. You remember the set? Like this, there's the 2K Sanji in it and the Nami. It has all the straw hats and it has got that silver background.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that when they released that on Premium Bandai. Yeah.
Okay. So I believe that was the 25th anniversary for the One Piece franchise.
Manga.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we have the 25th anniversary for the anime, which came out maybe like a year after.
I don't know. There's just way too many anniversaries because we celebrate we get the Japanese anniversary for the card game.
Yeah.
And then the English anniversary as well.
Yep.
And now the anime.
Don't forget the Korean.
No, well, we don't have anything for the Korean, but I think Chinese does though. I think they do.
Oh, they do.
They got their own anniversary set in
They
China.
don't have a Korean anniversary?
Not yet.
They don't got that Chuseok collection?
Chuseok's canceled, apparently.
Nami on Jeju type beat, you know what I mean?
That would go hard.
Come on, bro.
Little hanbok on her.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Cool. But yeah, anyways, EB02 is for the anime 25th anniversary, which is why some of the artwork in this set is done. I don't know if it's some or all, but it's done by the artists who worked on the show, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, I also don't know if it's all of them, but some of the alt arts for the cards are just gorgeous.
Yes.
They're incredible.
Very, very nice. And so a couple things about the set. We know that there's one new leader, which we'll get into because he's important.
He is very,
we have the announcement that the SP slots are taken by leaders.
That's right.
The gold frame thing.
Not just like a few of them, a lot of
There's
them.
a lot.
There's a lot. So these ones are going to be... They'll probably cost you a pretty penny if you want to get your hands on these.
I don't know how aggressively priced these will be. Like SPs are very rare, so and then on top of that, they're like they have the normal art of the leaders, but it's just in this kind of gold foiling.
It's got that gold like raised foil.
Yeah,
so it looks very premium.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen one obviously in person yet, but I'm very curious to see if they're valuable. Because like for example, there was the Premium Bandai collection. Was it another anniversary? With the gold foiling, but it's like all the regular arts. Like it had like Rosinante, Nine Moms, the 2K Sanji. You know what I'm talking about?
The one that just came out.
Yeah, the one that just came out.
That one is the second anniversary.
It is an anniversary.
For the English.
Yeah. You sound very confident, so I'm going to go with that.
I believe that is the case. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, those ones, like, when they first were announced, everyone was like, "Oh, it's just the regular art," but the treatment looks nice.
The treatment is insane. Yeah. So I can only imagine that this time around, the special leaders will be the same, right? Like you can't just print with gold foil on a regular base card. You know, like. And that takes the SP slot? No way. No way.
Yeah, so we'll see about that one.
I mean, there's a ton of leaders, so in order for you to get the exact leader that you want, like you have to get pretty lucky.
Yeah, for sure. And on top of that, we're just seeing a lot of scarcity with the set.
For sure, yeah. I'm
seeing crazy prices right now.
Yeah, like rumors have it that the pull rates for this particular set are extremely low, like lower than we've seen for any other set.
Yeah. Like, I think people have been saying that in one full case of this, it is 4 SECs, which is like not even half of, I think, what it usually is, or just half.
And I believe the number was also like, for those green purple Luffy enjoyers, one alternate art leader in a case.
Oh my god.
Which is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I hate how that one looks.
So I like the normal one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play it. Imagine they had the gold foil treatment for the normal one. Ooh, fire.
That would be fuego.
There are a lot of leader cards that people prefer the base rarity artwork for. Yeah. Right? Like a lot of people really like the purple Luffy one.
Oh, the base one.
The base one. Yeah. So like if you were to give that the gold treatment, that might be the premium leader now, right? Yeah. Like that might be more expensive than the PSA one.
I was thinking about Lucci.
Lucci is an incredible one.
Yeah. People don't really like the furry Lucci. So.
Nah, there's a few other ones too. I can't really think of them now, but like I know the King one looks really good.
Yeah. And Lucci is actually going to be one of the gold foil ones in EB. So we'll see. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So look forward to that.
Yeah, and then just kind of interesting cards in the set. Yeah. I remember when these first got announced, the generic searchers, they're like, the artwork is really cool. It's like the animation frames from the anime, so I think that's really cool. And all of them are titled after like theme songs from the show. So like We Are, right? You've got the classic Luffy, and I think this is just episode 1.
Yeah.
But the effect was something that like there was so much Twitter hubbub when these were first announced.
There were riots in the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. People were picketing. They're going on strike. There was a lot of discourse surrounding a 2-cost generic searcher.
Yeah, there was a lot of rage against the machine, and it was just like people were like, "Oh, this is gonna break the game." Yeah. Like, just having generic searchers that like will be in every deck ever.
But then you take a look at the Eastern meta who've already had access to these cards. Nobody's playing these cards.
Yeah, nobody's playing these cards.
Yeah.
But I think they're cool. I think they do offer some level of I don't know. We've just never seen a card like this before, and
for sure.
I think it is possible for certain decks to want these. I think like people look to like Enel, for example.
Yeah, for sure. And decks that typically struggle with consistency maybe need a little bit of help to find their boss characters.
Yeah,
namely Shanks.
Could be Shanks,
right? Yeah. Like these kinds of decks, you might think about playing cards like this, especially since it has a trigger that's just activate main.
Yeah. I don't know. I think in general, I just like the art. So that's mainly the thing that I want from these.
I wonder what the foiling or the treatment is going to be like on these. Like,
yeah, I want to see them in person, right?
They must just be gorgeous. It'll probably be just super cool to have a set of one of each of the colors.
Yeah.
So that'll just be like a really cool collector's piece. I imagine all the collectors will probably try to send this in, get it graded. May not be worth as much as like a manga, but just a cool collector's item.
Are these just commons? Or are they rares?
I don't know. Let me see.
Use them great. Oh, I was gonna
rare.
Oh, it is rare. Okay,
yeah,
so they probably will have some foiling on them, and then it's just very stark in terms of like color because they're so white.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a cool looking card. These just look awesome.
I think as just a fan of the game. But let's get to, I think, the big bully on the block here.
The boogeyman.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are looking forward to this new leader. It is green purple Luffy.
Yeah, so kind of something interesting this time around for Extra Booster 2 is that we only get one leader.
Yeah.
Right? Compared to EB1, which we had 3 leaders.
We had 3 leaders. It was basically 0 leaders.
Put some respect on Hanya Ball, okay?
I'm sorry.
Mino Chihuahua into Magellan, bounce Magellan into Magellan. Come on, bruh.
There's one guy who's excited about it, but
that deck sucks.
Yeah, it was quite bad. We did do like a mini off meta tournament, and
like a buddy battle.
Yeah, Gum Champion Rifle, good card.
Yeah. Turns out Hanya Ball got some sleeper cards.
Yeah. In any case, let's talk about green purple Luffy, and the card reads. Activate main once per turn, don -2 if the only characters on your field are Straw Hat Crew type characters, set up to 2 of your don cards as active. Then this leader gains +1k power until the end of your opponent's next turn.
Yeah. So for full cycle, he becomes a 6K leader.
Yeah, this basically this leader has the ability to just like go crazy. Like you have very, very explosive turns.
Yeah.
And the ability is kind of interesting because like it restands the Dawn, but you're also sending 2 Dawn back. So you're like incentivized to play things out and use the ability, you restand Dawn, and then you play another thing. Right.
So, or, on the chance that you're on the back foot here, you can also leave Dawn standing for counter events.
Yeah. Gum Gum Giant. So very good. And I think the thing with this leader is that it got omega amounts of support in its own set.
Crazy amounts.
Yeah, because I think it's unusual. Most of the time when these sort of leaders come out, they don't have the necessary support in the first set, So there's a lot of like leaders that kind of have to wait for I'm thinking like decks like Lim. When Lim first came out, there were Odyssey cards. There just wasn't like enough good ones to really like make a full deck. But then once OP10 came around, it's like, okay, boom. Yeah. There you go. So like a lot of leaders usually need like a set and a half. GP Luffy did not need anything more than this set, and the fact that it gets to piggyback off of the already great purple straw hat like engine.
Yeah, not to mention some of the tech cards that you can put in that GP deck are cards that have existed for a long time.
Yeah.
Right, like Electric Luna. Yeah, these cards have existed for a while, but just haven't really seen the right meta. To see play. But with the right leader, I think those cards become really strong.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the leader and how it plays a little bit, because you and I have both tested EB a little bit, and we've been playing this leader for a little bit. And I think both of us has come, like, it was very funny because very early on, we didn't know what we were doing, but we realized what the deck's, like, true purpose is, and it is finding the 5-cost Sanji and Pudding card.
This is Sanji and Pudding the deck.
Yeah.
Really no other card in this deck matters. It's just Sanji and Pudding.
Yeah. I think it's kind of similar to like Blackbeard. Like Blackbeard is kind of like Burgess and Teach.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, it's like the whole deck is predicated on those 2 cards for Blackbeard, and same thing with GP Luffy and Sanji Pudding.
Yeah,
if you don't got that card in hand,
it's over.
Hand.
Like, it's over.
And that's why I think some of these other cards are in the deck, because you need that card, and you get like 2 turns to find it. So now you have this additional Nami Searcher.
That's right.
That helps you dig for it. And, the stage has a couple of functions in the deck, but part of it is just like, just
draw you a card.
And it's only 1 Dawn, so it's very minimal.
Yeah. And so you get this 5-card Nami Searcher that searches for any straw hat of any color, right? So it's not like Zoro Juro.
Yeah, only purple.
Where Zoro Juro can only search you a purple straw hat card. And then the 1-cost event searches 3 cards only.
Yeah.
So the Nami Searcher is super important to get this deck going, right? Like, you really need to find your Sanji and Pudding.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because this deck technically plays 3 searchers, right?
Yep.
And some decks are lucky to have 1. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And some decks don't even play the searchers, right? Like Shanks decks. I don't even play the Nami Searcher. You play Uta? I don't play Uta.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. You're just raw dogging it.
Yeah.
And it's, again, all this stuff is very important because you need Sanji and Pudding. Like, as soon as possible, you want to establish it because... let's read what Sanji and Pudding does.
Yeah, so Sanji and Pudding reads, your turn once per turn. When 2 or more Dawn cards on your field are returned to your Dawn deck, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. And it has an additional on-play effect. If the number of Dawn on your field is equal to or less than the number of Dawn cards on your opponent's field, draw 1 card.
Yeah, so it's funny because you look at that second ability and you go, oh my god, I have to draw with it. And turns out the first one you play, generally you're never drawing the
draws
card.
You the card. Yeah.
But the first effect is so important to why this deck is as explosive, because you use that leader ability, you put those Dawn back, but then both between your leader ability and Sanji Pudding, you get so much Dawn back.
Yeah, you get so much. Like, if you go first on your 5 Dawn turn, you just play Sanji Pudding and you leader ability, you refund yourself 3 Dawn.
That's crazy.
The IRS would be knocking at your door. 3 Dawn?
That is tax evasion, my friend. That is
I only paid 2 for this guy. That's crazy.
It's the same feeling when you play Red Green Smoker and you have Smoker on 5. You're like,
How did I get here?
I played Mulgun for $1.
Yeah, how did I get
beast.
here? Yeah.
Yep. So anyways, this card, the first one you find is omega important, and then every additional Sanji Pudding you play from there on,
it just snowballs.
Insane, right? Like, okay, so the first one you play, you use leader ability, you have 3 Dawn. You play another one, you have four potential.
You get 4 back.
Yeah, you get 4 back, which then enables you to play some of the other cards in the deck. Like 4 drops are usually pretty important. Yeah. So I think I think that's what going second feels really nice on
going
this
second
deck.
Feels super, super good. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can play Sanji Pudding, use your leader ability,
and then play a Zoro
Juro.
Yeah.
And then that supercharges their next turn, because potentially that digs you to your next Sanji Pudding.
Yeah, because if you go like Zoro Juro on 4 and then Sanji Pudding on 6, and then you use leader ability, you refund yourself 3 Dawn, you go back to 4 active Dawn, play another Zoro Juro, find yourself a Luffy Taro, because you go to 7 next turn, you just go Luffy Taro into Sanji Pudding, leader ability, get 4 back. Oh my god!
He's going crazy. Yeah, it feels like going to Costco. Everything's on sale.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually insane. Yeah. So you really need this card.
This card is just absolutely absurd. And by the way, you're 6K so like you're just so tanky as well, and it just makes it very awkward for your opponent to try to race you from that point on. So,
yeah, definitely.
And by the way, there's more support for this deck besides these cards. So
yeah, I mean, we can talk about the stage, right?
Oh yeah, let's talk about the stage.
Going Merry.
Yeah.
So Going Merry reads, on play if your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, draw 1 card. So it already refunds it refills itself, right?
Perfect.
It plays itself for free. And its second effect, activate main. You may rest this stage if the number of Dawn cards on your field are equal to or less than your opponent's. Up to one of your Straw Hat Crew type characters gains +2 costs until the end of your opponent's next turn.
Yeah.
So it basically just gives 2 costs to any of your Straw Hat guys. You almost exclusively only play Straw Hat characters in this deck because you need your leader ability to go off.
Yes.
So it basically can pump anything, right? It turns your Sanji Pudding from a 5 cost to a 7 cost. It turns your Luffy Taros from 7 to 9. Like, these are just nightmare numbers for black decks to deal with.
Yeah, and it's not just black. One of the reasons why I think this deck does well into decks like Dofi is because like, and also conversely Boa, is that your costs are just at an awkward number that early. So like if you started with stage and you play Sanji and Pudding on 5 and you use stage and it's a 7 cost, like they're on their 6 Dawn turn, it is very hard to already have the setup to deal with a 7 cost that turn.
Yeah. The only way you can deal with that is you bounce it back to their hand and they just replay it. It comes out of Luffy Taro for free.
Yeah.
It's all bad news. Yeah.
It's gross. So yeah, Merry-Go makes this deck kind of hard to interact with. And
for sure.
I think that's the other part that makes this deck so strong, is that a lot of the removal that exists in the game cares about cost, and now you've made it that much harder to interact with.
Not to mention the meta, especially this meta, has been filled with cards that like to deal with 5 cost cards, right? So like Blackbeard playing things like Finger Pistol.
Yep.
Now Sanji Pudding is not Finger Pistolable.
Yeah.
Right? You can safely swing after using stage. You can safely swing into their life, and it just can't die.
Yeah.
Off of some lucky trigger.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the stage, and then again, like I was saying before, there's so much support for this deck.
There is a lot more.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, so we have a Roronoa Zoro card at 4/5 that reads, if your opponent has 2 or more characters, this character can attack characters the turn it's been played. So it basically, effectively, I don't know, there's not really a One Piece term for this. I typically refer to it as charge instead of like rush.
Yeah, but this one's only to characters.
It's only to
like
characters.
Corrida,
Exactly.
Effect.
It has that Corrida Coliseum effect.
Yeah.
And it's on play as if your leader is a Straw Hat type crew character, or Straw Hat crew type. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So this immediately, once it hits the board, lets you interact with something, right?
Yes.
It just rests a 4 cost, and then he can swing into it.
Yeah, this card's messed up.
Yeah, it's very good.
Early on, I was like, this card seems kind of underwhelming,
Yeah.
but in practice, this card is absurd. Like, again, we're talking about how it's hard to interact with our deck. Well, this gives us our tools to interact with other people's decks.
Right.
And it is very annoying.
Yeah, so cards like this help you interact with things like Kuzan, right?
Yep.
Or Laboon, things that require a full turn of setup, right? You just play it and then you wait until the next turn in order to use it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Zoro says no.
Yeah, Zoro.
Zoro says I'm swinging.
But yeah, no, Zoro goes absolutely crazy. And then, of course, its other job is just to rest blockers out of the way for lethal swings.
Right.
And
Rebecca is not safe.
Yeah, not safe. So
you can turn one, play your Nami Searchers, and then your Zoro comes out, rests a Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then your Nami
annoying.
just clears it for free, right?
Yeah,
so good.
Now we also have the 3-cost Nico Robin.
That's right.
Yep.
Another blocker that will help the consistency of this deck, right?
Yeah.
So it reads, on KO, Dawn -1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom in any order. So it searches 3 cards for a Straw Hat card, regardless of color.
Yeah, and this is really good for defense. Like, this card can find you Gum Gum Giants.
That's right.
In the late game. So, like, when you're trying to survive that extra crucial turn,
Yep.
she comes out, she blocks an attack, finds you Gum Gum Giant. Now Gum Gum Giant gives you 4k more, counter. I mean, it's
like,
absurd.
She searches for anything and everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, she searches for, like you said, the Giant. She searches for the 0-cost event, Jet Gatling.
Yep.
She searches for herself, another blocker.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so flexible, right?
Yeah.
If you are really struggling to find your Sanji Puddings early as well, she searches for Sanji Pudding.
She's the ultimate problem solver.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's lore.
That's kind of canon, though,
Yeah,
no?
right? Yeah.
That is kind of canon, yeah.
So, it's amazing. She's just an amazing glue card.
Yeah.
Just being able to just figure out what you need and then find it.
Yeah. And then speaking of canon, we have the ultimate troublemaker, Franky. This guy, we were talking about how Robin helps you with defense and consistency. Franky just helps you with aggression, right? Like, he just makes your deck ramp a lot faster than it probably should.
Yes.
And opens up lines of play that may not be available to you had you not played this card.
Right.
So he reads, he's a 3/4 with a 1k counter attached, and he reads, on play and when attacking, if your leader has Straw Hat Crew type and the number of Dawn cards on your field are equal to or less than your opponent's, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So it ramps you a rested Dawn if you've got equal to or less Dawn than your opponent. On play and when attacking. So this already makes it kind of a viable option over a card like Zorojuro, the 3/4.
Yeah. This card is pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Like, again, like you were saying, like, if you're going first, you play that Sanji Pudding, you have that 3 Dawn refunded. You can play this guy. He then, since you've just minus Dawn, you're going to be even or behind. And
then he opens up the Luffy Taro line for the turn after if you go first. So he's just an incredible card for starting out your offense.
Yeah.
Whereas Robin is a card that helps you find the pieces that you might need or help you survive that extra turn.
Yeah. And I don't know. What's your thoughts on Franky?
My list doesn't play Franky because I feel like I need a lot of pieces in order for him to go off.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a little situational.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he's incredible when I have Sanji Pudding and Luffy Taro on the field, but then, or like in my hand. But I need to be able to find the Sanji Pudding, which is sometimes not there.
Yeah.
I have to find the Luffy Taro, which is a 2 or 3 of at most. And then I have to have the Franky.
Yeah.
Which probably also isn't a 4 of. So there's a lot of pieces that I need for the true combo to really go off. So I decided to just go with consistency's sake.
Yeah.
Go up on 4 costs because I want to go second, and then go Sanji Pudding into Luffy Taro Sanji Pudding from there.
Yeah.
I found that game plan to be a bit more consistent for me.
Yeah, I think a lot of deck lists kind of go without Franky.
Yeah.
But he does just make your high roll really insane.
He does, yeah. It's a high for sure.
Yeah. And we haven't stopped there.
Nope. We've got the straight bazooka man himself, Monkey D. Luffy. The SEC Luffy we were talking about earlier, that's going to be pretty scarce. 4, so a place out of it.
In a case?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Man,
disgusting.
So this one is gonna maybe cost you a pretty penny at the start of the set for sure for those GP players.
I remember in the first extra booster, Bonclay was the only SEC,
That's right.
but double the rate, and it still ended up being like $30.
Yeah, and Bonclay it's held its value, if not gone up. Right?
Yeah,
it's like
I think it's like
$50
$40,
right
$50.
now.
Yeah. One thing that's good is that I think this card isn't necessarily a 4 of, so maybe that impacts a little bit of the
could be
supply demand, But let's go ahead and read what it does.
Yeah, so it reads: if your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn on their field, this character gains Rush. So it's a 6/7 brick that gains Rush. Basically, almost always.
Yeah,
right?
Who's ever going to be under 5 Dawn?
Only if you play in the mirror. Sometimes you're under 5 Dawn, so you have to be kind of conscious of where their Dawn's at. Maybe Reiju as well.
Yeah,
but
Reiju.
Against most decks, he's going to have Rush.
He's going to have Rush, yeah.
Yeah, and he also reads, when attacking once per turn, you may return 2 of your active Dawn to your Dawn deck and set this character as active. Then add 1 card from the top of your life to your hand. So he's just the ultimate finisher card, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just play him for 6. You refund a bunch of Dawn with Sanji Pudding. You send 2 back, and then he just swings big twice.
Yeah. He's kind of your ultimate finisher, like you're saying. Like, just has Rush and then hits twice. Like, it's kind of like, I don't think there's been a card that has Rush and double attack, and this card kind of does that.
Yeah, it kind of does do that. Yeah.
And that is very frightening.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes I've found myself in some positions where I may not have that Luffy Taro or Sanji Pudding, but I do have a Luffy in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just play it out.
Yeah.
I just play it out as a 6/7 that rushes.
They
kind of have to deal with it. Otherwise, it does still have the threat of swinging twice at you.
Yeah. And I think a 6/7 too is just kind of a big body. So even though you have it rested, like most people on that turn, like they're busy trying to develop stuff.
Yeah.
And I also think that a 7K body just gets naturally out of a lot of things. Like
for sure.
We'll talk about this when we talk more broadly about the meta, but a lot of removal isn't that well suited for 7K bodies specifically. So I think that's interesting. And then
we have another card in Gum Gum Giant Pistol. This one's a little bit more niche.
Obscure, yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen some lists kind of include this as the ultimate finisher. Straight just adding rockets to your bazooka type beat.
Yeah.
It's a 3-cost green event that reads: main, add up to one of your Straw Hat Crew type characters gains plus 6,000 power during this turn. Then the selected character will not become active in your next refresh phase. So this is the true glass cannon, right? It just, you swing
all on the line,
and that's the end of the game.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Either you die or I die.
Yeah. So you just pump this Luffy for 9 Dawn, right? For 6 Dawn, you play the Rush Luffy.
Yep.
And then
leader
ability. You refund some Dawn with Sanji Pudding. You play Giant Pistol. He becomes a 13.
Yeah.
I mean, he's swinging.
It's very reminiscent of the old Rebecca list that run the 7-drop Dressrosa Luffy.
Yeah.
And then King Kong Gun. Yeah. It's very similar to that, where you get to swing gigantic amounts twice.
Yeah,
turn.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought that this was a pretty interesting card, and I think it has maybe some niche flexibility as well. It may not be played in the premier green purple Luffy list, but it is still a green Straw Hat card that pumps Straw Hat characters. Other decks can play it.
Yeah,
right?
I think again, I kind of want to talk about this more when we talk about the meta broadly, but I could see this card landing itself in more lists, especially if people are kind of designing the early meta around controlling this deck.
For sure.
And sometimes you're just gonna need that extra little help to get through, and this card gets you there.
It'll definitely get you there. 13-13 ain't no joke.
Yeah. It reminds me of Usopp a little bit, where Usopp originally ran like red rocks to try to like outvalue your opponent, and then eventually along the way they were like, you know what, Shanks is too much of an issue. Even if I red rock his stuff, he just keeps playing big guys, so why don't we just kill him instead? And then they just started playing 4 King Kong guns.
So we have also aside from GP, we have some new support coming to potentially just currently competitive decks, right? That exist in maybe not this current formats in the past, formats that can come in the future as well.
Yeah, I think this is one of the cool things about the extra booster, as a set, is that it doesn't need to follow as tight of a theme, so you can get a lot of support for other decks. And I think there's quite a few cards in EB02 that look like they can bring some of these decks up.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with red, right? And the premier red deck that comes to mind is Zoro.
Yeah.
A deck that's been around forever, that's gone through multiple iterations of
I think the designers must be regretting Zoro.
Maybe.
They're just like, every time we try to feed, like, it reminds me of like when you're trying to like feed multiple dogs.
Yeah.
And you're like trying to feed one dog something, and the second dog comes in.
What you eating?
Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to give, the chopper deck another chopper. And Zoro's like,
that's mine. That's mine.
That's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, dude, lay off, man.
So you got another another Zoro support card, right?
Yeah.
In this 3-cost chopper that reads Dawn 2. On opponent's turn, this character gains plus 2,000 power. So it's already a pretty tanky card, right? Like, if you attach 2 Dawn to it, it's a 3/5. And it's on play. Reads, if your leader has a Straw Hat Crew type, which Zoro does, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. So it just gives them the leader card, the leader ability for free. Yeah. So I think this card is very, very strong. It comes out of Book Chopper.
Yeah.
It comes out of the other Chopper, Antler mode.
Yeah,
Homo erectus chopper. I don't know what it's called.
The 3/4 that plays a 3K animal. Yeah.
So this guy comes out of that.
Yeah. This card just makes that deck even more frightening.
Yeah.
So, it's just funny.
You know how we joked earlier, just print more animals, and I was just like, let's go even one deeper and just print more choppers. They printed more choppers.
They did it. They
printed more choppers. Yeah.
Yeah, this card. I mean, I'm sure they thought about Zoro to begin with. Otherwise, they would have locked it to Chopper Leader. But man, that effect is just so good for that deck.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? So Zoro in EB.
I think Zoro in EB is quite scary, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially judging how tight the GP Luffy lists are gonna be. Right, you do play a ton of bricks. Sanji Pudding's a brick, Luffy Taro's a brick, Zoro Juro's a brick. You play so many bricks, and then you only have so many 2K slots, and your 1K slots are, taken up by maybe your searchers, the 4/5 Zoro if you play it.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't actually play that many 1Ks. The majority of your counters are 2Ks.
Yeah.
So if Zoro is constantly swinging at you for 6, that's going to deplete you of resources fast.
Very, very fast. And I think it's very different than like Pluffy, where so many cards are designed with like getting rid of bricks in mind. You know, like 9 Mom, discard a card. Gum Gum Giant, discard a card.
Yep.
Nami Blocker, discard a card, draw 2.
Queen,
draw 2, discard a card. You kind of filter your hand like continually with that deck, but GP isn't quite like that. So I think decks that go underneath are quite good. So I don't know. Definitely, I think Zoro will be popular in this early part of the EB meta.
I think so too. Yeah, especially if it proves to be resilient, maybe to modern Lucci lists.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe it can go wide really fast, and the Luccis are designing their decks around removing kind of taller characters,
guys,
right? Like 7 costs, namely.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk more about some of these support cards. I think this next card, a lot of people are really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty niche card, right?
Yeah.
It's a card that can only be played in 2 leaders exactly.
Yeah.
At this point in time. Obviously, they can print more support for it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about the 6/7 red Yamato that reads, activate main once per turn if your leader has the Land of Wano type or is Portgeist the Ace. Give up to 1 rested Dawn card to up to one of your leaders, and then this character gains rush during this turn.
Yeah.
So it gives you a rested Dawn. It gets rush, and it's not an on play.
Yeah.
So it's just good into Blackbeard.
Suck on that, Blackbeard.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, ever since Blackbeard got printed and introduced into the meta, we've been seeing the designers for this game print a lot more activate main type abilities.
Like, this is very funny because, like, come on, man. That could have obviously been an on play, but they're like,
that's an on play.
Yeah. Some designer was like, maybe not, guys.
Yeah,
maybe
we printed another useless card for red.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Can't do that.
No.
Yeah, so specifically, I think the Oden guys are really happy about this.
Yeah.
Kozuki Oden, the red-green leader. Some people may have forgotten about him, but that deck is scary.
It is, yeah. Another, on brand 6K leader.
Yeah. Another 6K leader, and this checks all the boxes that deck wants. You want a 7K body on board.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go this off the rip, so I might be slightly wrong on the translation, but he turns all your Wano bricks into 1Ks.
Yeah.
And then his other ability is when he has one Dawn underneath him, if you have a 7K body, he gains 1K for the turn cycle.
Yep.
When attacking. So what that means is with Yamato on 6 Dawn, you play Yamato. Yamato gives Oden the Dawn.
Yep.
And now you have 2 7K swings that turn. Rush. That's good.
Yeah. 2 7K with Rush. And Yamato, typically, you look at this card and you're like, oh, it's another brick. It's not a brick to Oden.
Not an Odin. Yeah.
No, it's not a brick to Oden.
So this card is very tailor-made for that deck. And I don't know. I'm just kind of curious if Oden can make a comeback. Oden was, funny enough, the only time it was kind of meta relevant was in that weird half set that we had where RP Law was running rampant.
That's right.
It was like the 7.5, I think. And like RP Law was going rampant. Uta was making a big comeback. And Red Green Oden actually dog walks RP Law.
Yeah, it was really surprising at the time because I didn't know this, but I believe we were at like a Dallas regional or something, maybe like Arlington. I can't remember which regional it was, but I sat down first round. We were waiting. They're making announcements. They're talking about like rulings for certain cards. I sit down and I'm looking around. I look to my left. Red Green Oden.
No.
Interesting. Man, that guy must like to lose. I look to my right. Red Green Oden.
No way.
You guys friends or something? What's going on here? Look a little further. Another Red Green Oden.
Am I taking crazy pills?
Everybody was on the same sauce that day.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I was like, dude, my table has like 3 to 4 Red Green Odens.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was insane. And the reason why the deck was so good was because Red Purple Law like wanted to use things that were usually like minus 3K, so it doesn't quite get to hit the 7K bodies that Odin puts out. So it was very funny.
Yep. And when Odin is big, like it's hard for them to swing like 7 into you, right? They can swing 6.
Yeah.
Your bricks are 1Ks.
Yeah, your bricks are 1K. So like you can never hope that he bricks out.
Yeah.
He just has it. So,
yeah, it's so good.
I don't know. I like that deck a lot.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to see some of these older leaders kind of come back in that way.
For sure. And I think Extra Booster 2 does lend itself a little bit to supporting some of those old leaders, right?
Yeah.
Like we see this Chopper card mainly as Zoro support, but you can play it in Chopper, right? We have a Yamato card that can be played in that Red Green Odin as well as the Red Ace leader. And the next card, we have Sabo.
Yeah.
So more Revolutionary Army cards.
Is it just me, or do they keep printing Rev Army cards?
They keep printing Rev Army cards, and not only like the black ones or whatever other colors, they're like exclusively red and yellow.
Yeah.
Like these are the scary Bello Betty pieces that I really did not want to see.
Yeah, it's both that deck and I swear to God that red yellow Sabo deck.
Red yellow Sabo. There's also red black.
Oh,
Sabo.
also red. All 3 of those decks are so close to being just like insane monsters of the meta.
Yeah, I mean, all of them have access to Karasu, which is an absolutely insane card.
That guy's the GOAT. People don't talk about Karasu enough.
People really don't. When we talk about greatest hits of red, Karasu is one for me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
there's no card in existence in the game that can shrink your leader like Karasu.
That is true. It is the only effect in One Piece that affects your leader directly for the entire turn.
Yeah, like if it wasn't leader locked to a Rev Army, I'm pretty sure every red deck would be playing it.
1,000%.
It is just so broken.
Imagine if Zoro could run that card.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine. Yeah,
Karasu low-key kind of an animal too, so that's part of Zoro package.
Minus 1K. Yeah. And then Bello Betty discards the card. 8K to 4K.
Yeah, 8 to 4, 8 to 4, 8 to 4. But we got
him, man.
Yeah. We got this new Sabo card, right?
Sorry, we didn't even talk about
we didn't talk about this card. It's a 4/5 2K.
That's
so
good.
just having access to useful 2Ks is just really good for aggressive decks, right? It lends you a bit of flexibility, so you don't have to discard your useless 2Ks strictly just for counter.
Yeah, I think whenever decks get pieces like this, it just raises the floor of the deck.
Right, exactly, yeah. So it reads, activate main, you may rest this character. Up to one of your revolutionary type army type characters other than Sabo gains plus 2,000 power during this turn, right? So this card basically turns your Ivankov
like any of those Rev army cards that care about getting like the plus 2K, because like there's quite a few of them. Yeah, the Ivankov, technically Karasu as well for the when attacking trigger. Cares about that. Morley, Lindbergh.
Yeah, so it just or I'm thinking of Lindbergh, not Morley, but yeah, Lindbergh pops like a 3K or something.
Yeah, I think Morley prevents blockers, like small blockers.
Yeah, so I think this Sabo just allowing your Ivankov to become live. Without even investing that trigger card to use leader ability from Bella Betty, lets you spit out a card basically for free. Because if your board isn't necessarily all that built, you may not want to pitch that card in order to swing that turn. You want to load up your shotgun, maybe just one extra turn. And the Sabo will let you do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's really good. And then on top of that, for red yellow Sabo specifically, because you need, I think he requires a body that's 7K to put into life. I think it is a 7. Yeah. So like you get to swing with it, you use this effect. Now you get to put that into life.
Yeah, it's an activate main, so it's you can do it at any point in your turn.
Just very flexible card. And
that's actually a good point, right? It's a Sabo card, so you can play the baby Sabo and then awaken into this big Sabo, and then now your leader is huge.
That's I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. I think these decks are so cool. I mean, Bella Betty. Again, we'll talk more about the full meta later. But like, Bella Betty has already been put on the map. Like, how many more cards does it take before this deck is actually just like unstoppable? I don't know.
Because Bella Betty was released OP5.
Yeah, OP5.
Yeah, and it was kind of scary in 5.
Yeah, it was
kind of scary in 6.
Kind of scary, not really. When Lucci came out, it
got a lot less scary in 7. But like, I've been seeing it kind of come back in like 9.
Yeah, and definitely in 9
and 10,
and I've heard rumors on 11.
Yeah, and then now it's getting more support. Like this might be a legit deck.
Yeah. This is like a hurricane that's coming, you know?
Yeah,
it's just, you see it out in the distance.
We're on watch.
Yeah.
When is it coming?
What is it? It's like category like 3 right now, but like with a little more support.
Oh, it might turn into Katrina.
Yeah.
This might turn into Hillary. So we got some more cards here. For a deck that I've been seeing pop up every now and then in this current set, and maybe last set too, the ultimate Doflamingo killer. Right?
Vegapunk. This deck is one of these decks that I really need to sit down and just like play a little bit. I've been watching Vegapunk. Okay, so we went to that store regional last week. It was a very funny store regional because it was on a Wednesday in the afternoon.
2 p.m.
Yeah, 2 p.m. start.
Yeah.
And I think everybody had the same idea because we were like, no one's going to be at this thing. It's 2 p.m. on a Wednesday.
And its player cap was 64 players.
64.
It wasn't a 32 player cap. It was 64.
So I wasn't on the wait list. I was on the not selected. Like, I shouldn't be showing up. But I was like, it's not going to fill up.
Right.
It's 64 people on Wednesday at 2 p.m. We get there. It's full.
It was actually so packed. We
packed.
had some friends who we told to come. And they came a little bit late, and they couldn't get in because it was actually full.
Yeah, we actually capped out 64 people. We were making jokes on the way there, like, what kind of jobless people going to show up to this?
This tournament was insanely jobless. Yeah. It was crazy.
The economy's not looking good, so maybe.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah.
It was very, very insane. But the reason why I bring this up was there were quite a few Vegapunk players.
There were.
And they were making it very close to the top tables at the end too. I think two of them were XO going into the 5th round. So this deck is not far again from being meta relevant. I think there's like places, and so it getting multiple cards that are good for the deck is quite scary.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention it wasn't just that store regional. You didn't go to this one, but I also went to another store regional maybe a few weeks before that.
Yeah.
And I played a Vegapunk at the top tables. I had no idea how to play against this deck.
Yeah.
I had no clue. At one point, he had 7 life. I had no idea how to play against this deck.
I think at that point, he's like, I don't know if I'm playing my deck right.
Yeah. Luckily, I won because I ended up just going really wide with big guys. And then I would just swing at him, right? I would just tuck his life with Mom.
Yeah.
And he had like 7 life, no cards in hand. And then at some point, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go 5 lead. I know what's going to come out of his life. He's just going to play it. 6 lead. Okay. He plays another body. 9 lead. He plays another body. 9 lead. He plays another body. 10 lead. Now he has to play over his existing bodies.
Yeah.
And I have a trillion counter in hand and like 2 life. I'm like, he can't kill me. Yeah.
And he probably didn't.
No.
And then you just kill him on the next track.
Exactly. Yeah. So I ended up just winning the game that way. I don't know if that was correct.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would do that again.
Again, this deck is just like
Yeah, 7
so
life.
bizarre.
I don't want to be in that position.
Yeah, this deck is very bizarre. But it gets a really great tool in this new Vegapunk card.
Yeah, so it is a 5/0 blocker with a 1K attached to it that reads, on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and play up to 1 scientist type card with a cost of 5 or less other than Vegapunk, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And if your opponent has 2 or less characters, trash 1 card from your hand.
Yeah, so this card's like the ultimate stall card. Like
Yeah.
your opponent is putting on pressure. They have multiple cards that are coming against you. And then you play this, and then it searches up a scientist. And you already play a ton of scientist cards in the Vegapunk deck.
They're all scientists.
Yeah, they're not all.
Are they not?
Like the Luffy, the Nami, they play.
Oh, right. Franky.
Yeah, Franky. But the Lilith, the Searcher, is off of that. You have the Atlas, the one that can't be killed in battle. You have Edson who draws you cards.
Who's Daft Punk?
Oh, Daft Punk. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Shaka.
Shaka,
my brother. Yeah. That guy is the GOAT.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And so, like, think about that with Shaka and this card is you can effectively play like many blockers suddenly in the same turn.
Yeah.
And very annoying card.
And then every card in the Vegapunk deck has a good trigger.
Yeah.
This card's trigger just reads draw a card. It's
Fire.
not draw 1, trash 1. It's not a filter.
Fire.
Draw a card.
We love
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
That's just good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a generically good card for that deck, and I expect Vegapunks to be playing 4 of this card.
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got another kind of yellow deck that might see a bit of resurgence. We've heard some, murmurs in the streets about a little while ago about this deck coming back because it gets access to a really powerful card. But before we get to that card, we're going to talk about Enel and its access to 5-cost blocker Sanji. It's a 5/6 Sanji with 1K attached to it that reads, on play, if you have 2 or less life cards, draw 2, trash 1.
Draw 2, trash 1. Oh, wow.
So just another 5 cost other than Gadatsu that will allow you to filter your hand and it has blocker attached to it, right? So I think just a really useful card for Enel to have access to.
Yeah, this card's just good, right?
Yeah.
Like, just generically very, very good. And I think especially if GP Luffy is, we know it's going to be one of the premier decks.
Yeah.
This gives you something to do on that 5-down turn that isn't Gadatsu. I think when you play you've never been on this side of the Enel Purple
Never in
Luffy
my life.
matchup.
I've never been in this side. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So,
Gadatsus are never live against me.
exactly. And then
Enjoy your popping my searcher.
Yeah, and you're kind of forced to play something on 5. You're hoping it's like Nami or something that impacts the board, but sometimes you just have that Gadatsu and you're like, I hate this guy right now.
Yeah.
And this gives you an ability to go up on cards. Draw 2, discard 1 is so good.
Yeah, like he's part of that generic 5/6 blocker 1K.
Feels like a cycle at this point.
Yeah, like a lot of cards have access to these, right? And their conditions are different.
Yeah.
So
Rayleigh for red.
Yeah. Queen for purple.
Yeah.
You've now got Sanji for yellow.
Yeah. I know for blue in OP11 we get the Nami, which
that's right.
Is it draw 3? Then you put back 2 or something like that?
I don't remember, but this 5/6 block conditional draw 2 trash 1
is like a staple.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that like generic searching ability, right? That's attached to a 5-cost body. And I think giving yellow access to this is quite powerful, especially in a deck like Enel.
Yeah. Enel, you're constantly kind of like balancing your proactive plays with like what you need to live. So, yeah.
Then we've got the Enel Boogeyman. The 10-11 Enel. Jesus, this thing is huge, right? So he reads, if your leader has the Sky Island type, this character gains Rush. So he already just has Rush right off the bat. And when attacking, he reads, you may trash 1 card from your hand. If you have 1 or less life cards, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life cards. Then this character gains a plus 1,000 power during this turn. So instead of a 11k body, he's now a 12k swinging at you. He's a 10-12 rusher that heals you. This card is just insane on paper, right?
This card seems, absolutely absurd. Also, very funny that they made it so that like when he attacks, he gets that 1k, because apparently it didn't connect at first, but the only 12ks that exist in the game are 4 Emperors. You know that?
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, think about it. The only 12k bodies that exist in the game are all Yonkos. You have Kaido, you have Linlin, you have Luffy, and you have Shanks. You have Teach. I'm trying to think who else.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is there all 12? Buggy.
Buggy's a 12k, yeah, because he's a Yonko.
Yeah.
But he's like kind of a fake Yonko, so he needs
that card is real as hell. That card is so good.
But he needs his homies.
Yeah, he do need his homies. Yeah. The circus act. Yeah.
But yeah, like they're all 12ks.
Wow. I did not notice that.
Yeah.
How did you find that out?
I don't remember. It was just like on a thread somewhere, and I was like, oh yeah, it's one of those like, oh, the designers must love that.
Yeah, that's actually super cool, because Enel is, very strong lore wise.
Yeah,
insanely powerful.
I think,
but he's not a Yonko.
Yeah, he's not a Yonko. Yeah. Sit down, little guy.
Yeah, he's not quite as strong as Buggy.
Yeah, not quite. That's crazy. By the way,
giving Enel access to another 4 copies of Rush Ace is just absurd.
Yeah, and I think one of the greatest things about this card is that it is a 11k body.
Yeah.
And that is so relevant right now because Shanks, I think, is going to start going towards like that heavy control style.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why Enel loses is like all your bodies are less than 10k. Perfect for that big 12k pop Shanks.
Yep.
And now they need a little extra to deal with Enel.
Yeah. The good thing is that, we'll talk about this later, but we've seen some control Shanks builds that I really don't care.
Yeah, they don't really care.
Those guys will shrink anything and everything. Yeah. But moving on, we've got Sengoku, right? Support for black decks. Now that Gecko Moria is gone, we have Gecko Moria, Atrop Gecko Moria from Temu.com.
Yeah. Costco brand.
And boy, did he get hit by the tariffs.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this card is kind of good, but not Gecko Moria good.
Man.
You've seen better days. So we've got a 7/7, not a brick this time. He's a 1k. He's a blocker. On play, it reads, play up to 1 black navy type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your trash rested. So he's a 7/7 that can just bring a Kuzan back, draws you a card.
Yeah, and then on top of that, even though it brings it rested, like he's a blocker himself, so he can help protect the 4-drop that you play.
Yeah,
like he's just flexible. Also, 7 cost means like you have 3 don. Let's say you're on your 10 don turn. You have flexibility there. You can bring I don't know, like Hina back,
right.
And then Hina -4 something, and now it's in like range for something
like Brook.
Yeah, Brook or whatever. So a lot of flexibility in this card. It's also not a brick, which I think is huge for
black decks.
Yeah, especially like the Navy core. So I expect this card to see play.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think it's basically for any kind of control black deck that needs to see values attached to big bodies.
Yeah.
This is an auto include.
And the thing too is like historically for competitive One Piece, like black decks have always had a Navy core to them.
Yeah.
They're just some of the most generically good cards in black. So having this guy on top of that, very good.
Yeah. He's no ACOS Gecko Moria. He's no pillar of the format.
Yeah.
But he'll do.
He'll do. He's like a table leg of the format.
Yeah. He'll do. And then we've got another obnoxious card. Just absolutely.
You're just saying that because it's green, but continue. Go off, King.
It's so. Tell me if I'm wrong. This card is annoying.
Yeah, you're right.
It's Bonney. It's a 7/7 Bonney. Not a brick. It's a 1K. That reads, on play, up to one of your opponent's rested characters will not become active, so it stuns it and it doesn't become active during your refresh phase. Then set up to one of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. So it just auto restands your Dawn.
Yeah.
You can spend your full 7 to stun something, develop a 7K body, and it auto restands your Dawn for your Bonney leader. This card is annoying.
Yeah, what's funny is we have a Bonney expert in our midst.
Yeah.
Tej, who, congratulations, top 8'd in the Treasure Cup this last week.
Congratulations,
regional?
top 8. It was a Treasure Cup.
Treasure Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, top 8 Treasure Cup.
Secured himself a law.
Yeah. And he only plays Bonney. And
Okay. First of all, let's put some respect on Tej's name. He doesn't only play Bonney. He's also done well on Enel.
I think the masses don't care.
He's a weird guy. But he looks so good.
If you told like the randos on Twitter, like, oh, he's a nice guy, and he's played other decks besides Bonney, and they're like, what deck? Enel.
Yeah, it's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for him. But he's a great player. He's
great
really
player.
Good.
Yeah, he's. We've been dogging on Bonney this set, and he shut us up.
Yeah, he's just the best Bonney player I know. Yeah.
Anyways, but he doesn't like this card as much. He says like there's like more priority cards that you'd want to play for this, because it is 7 Dawn. It does take up your entire turn, but it's also just kind of like. I feel like this card's just good, like against decks that are trying to hit you hard, like a Ploofy deck. You know, this comes down, stuns your big guy.
Yeah, and it's out of 9-mom range.
Yeah, out of 9-mom range. It's very hard to interact with. 7 again. That's 7K body, and then 7 cost.
Yeah,
is just a very annoying number for a lot of decks to hit.
I mean, if you take first, you're playing Cavendish on 5, then Bonney on 7, right? Like that Cavendish swings, refunds you 2 Dawn.
Yeah.
There's a plethora of things that you can do with all that Dawn,
you can play a blocker at that point, and
and then this Bonney will you can play a 3 cost card, right? Like you can play. Oh no, you can only play 2 costs. So you can play like Resonante, and then this Bonney will restand a Dawn for free. Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah, I think it's good, and I think the other benefit is like you can hold up events with it too. So I think maybe certain decks in the future that want to hold up more Dawn more frequently than Bonney does, or like I should say extra Dawn, outside of your leader ability. Like I don't know, it seems decent.
Yeah, and flexible. So yeah. Are there any cards, not previously mentioned that you're kind of looking forward to? Maybe cards that you would like to see play that are coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one that comes to mind is the new Vivi card.
That card is so good.
Yeah, I'll do the honors this time. It's a 3 cost, 2K. It has 1K counter on play. If your leader is multicolored and you have 5 or less cards in your hand, you draw 2.
It's just a generic peel off.
Yeah,
that has a counter attached to it. It's just good.
I think this card's great.
Yeah,
and specifically being in blue, like it just gives you opportunities to play like insane value kind of things, right? Like if you play this off of another card, I don't think that stuff exists quite yet, but I think it'd be sick for this card to see some sort of weird play, and like I have no idea. Does blue purple play this?
Purple. It could.
It might not, but
it could. But I mean, it's just a card that you can play in really any blue deck. It's a card that's really flexible. It just nets you cards when you're running out of cards.
Yeah,
and it's not a brick. That's good.
It's just good. I'm really I want this card to see play because I just like drawing cards.
Yeah.
Miss you, Sakazuki, every day.
True.
So
True. He's never coming back.
He's never coming back.
Nah, he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
But like, imagine back in those days. Like, okay, imagine this: you're playing Sakazuki in this other alternate universe. Moria's still alive. Okay, and then you play Moria. You play this. You bring back a Vivi from the trash. You draw 2 cards for the 2 Dawn. You bring back brand new. You look at the top 3. You draw 3. Oh, so much value.
Back to reality. Thank God. Oh my God, that would have been a nightmare. Thank God.
And you can Hound Blaze, and then it swings too.
God.
And like, oh man,
what a nightmare.
Sorry.
There's a card, back to actual reality that I kind of want to see being played that I think is very fun.
Yeah.
We got a straight Soldier Boy, Chopperman,
Superman on the
moon. This guy's a 5'6" that reads. Also treat this card's name as Tony Chopper according to the rules. And on play up to one animal type character with the cost of 3 or lower from your hand. So he's just insane in Chopper.
What animals are 3 cost, Josh? That's insane.
Oh yeah, Chopper. Hiking bear.
And another chopper.
Yeah. You got just infinite choppers, and you got just straight Deku on this bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean this card. Okay, so speaking of decks that would be cool to come back, see play, Red Green Chopper. I mean, at some point, this is at least finally a card that's specifically good with Chopper in mind. Yeah.
And it's a 5'6". This is no slouch.
Yeah.
Right? This is a body with Chopper leader ability. It swings for 7. It's just really relevant.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a 5'6".
Yeah.
You bring out Book Chopper. Chopper brings out another Chopper.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I mean, that's gotta be good somewhere, right?
And not to mention, it has access to the Odyssey Chopper. Or is it Odyssey or Film? I think it's Odyssey.
The restand.
The restand Chopper.
Why is that one your favorite? You've mentioned that one a lot.
So it has synergy with a card that we mentioned a little earlier.
Oh.
Gum Giant Pistol.
Oh.
So Gum Giant Pistol reads that it won't restand during your next refresh phase.
Yeah. But it's not on your refresh phase.
It restands itself not on its refresh phase.
Yeah.
So you can just pump him huge. He swings. He just restands.
Yeah.
That's beast.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
that's very that synergy is very cute.
Yeah.
Just like Chopper.
Yeah. Another deck that I think deserves a little bit of love at this point that I think is really cool is Red Black Garp.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This deck. Very cool.
Yeah, it gets a little bit of support in EB in the form of a new Garp card, right? 5/6. On play, give your leader up to 2 Rested Dawn cards. Activate main. You may rest his character if your leader is Monkey D. Garp. KO up to one of your opponent's cost 1 or lower characters.
Yeah. Okay. So right off the bat, that means that on 5 Dawn, because of Garp's leader ability, the 2 Rested Dawn means that it gives something -2.
Does that happen like that? Does it give it 2 Dawn in one instance, so it minuses 1 once, or is it each Dawn card comes in individually?
I think it is just all Dawn. So
it just gives something -2.
-2
That's
off
beast.
the rips, and then you rest this and pop a 3 cost.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, for people who are listening to this or watching this, let us know if that's how that works.
Yeah.
Garp, as far as I'm aware, is that leader ability is the strongest minus ability in the game.
Yeah, 100%.
And it comes in the form of it has red, so it has all these effects that move around Dawn.
Yeah.
And so it is scary when it works. I remember there was a tournament at RWT. I wasn't there. But this guy shows up, and he's from Japan. And apparently the only deck he plays is Monkey D. Garp. And he steamrolled RWT.
Dang.
Yeah. And
those players are no slouches either.
Yeah. And the thing is, again, the deck is just so good at removing things. It just doesn't quite have the support it needs yet.
Yeah.
So
I love just seeing more support for a leader like that.
Yeah.
Right? I think that leader ability is so cool. I think Garp is a cool character.
Yeah.
Red, black. Great color combo.
Yeah.
Well, it can get there with the right support.
Yeah, it could get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when we see more support for the new Kobe leader, I think that direction for Red Black seems interesting. And then decks like Sabo.
Yeah. And then moving on, we have to ask the question, how does EB02 change our current meta?
Yeah.
The current meta mainly surrounding Purple Luffy. We've got
Blackbeard,
Shanks, Dofi, Shanks, Lim, right? It's kind of a little bit of a wide meta.
Yeah.
But EB02 brings in a new leader
that
potentially kills Blackbeard entirely.
We'll see, right? I think this is very interesting because right now I think the meta is sort of, it's actually centered around Blackbeard.
Yeah.
That would be my argument. Like Shanks is kind of forced to run a lot of rush cards because of Blackbeard.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Blackbeard, I don't think Shanks would be running dragons at all.
Yeah.
I don't think they care. And so I think like with GP Luffy, who apparently just farms Blackbeard, and as far as I'm concerned, it seems that way. I do have some thoughts on that matchup too, but yeah, I do think there's going to be a significant change if Green Purple Luffy is the big new like deck to be prepared for.
For sure. I mean, he's the only kind of new deck that is being introduced into perhaps this EB meta. So every deck has to ask themselves the question, how am I into GP Luffy?
Yeah. And okay, I'm thinking about this as we go along here. And I think one of the hallmarks of the current meta of One Piece is that it's not very interactive. I think a lot of decks aren't really that concerned with interacting with your board outside of like, will it kill me or not?
Right.
I think a lot of times people are just going full steam ahead with their proactive plays, and then you guys just kind of like hit each other in the head.
It's a war of attrition.
Yeah, until somebody dies. That's like how it feels. You know, like Shanks just wants to play on curve. Luffy played on curve.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of these decks just like run themselves into each other, and it's not about removal. It's not about like, I think EB changes that entirely because I think Green Purple Luffy is a deck that you either interact with. There's like two ways to deal with him. Either you interact with him, or you have to go underneath him and go even faster than Green Purple Luffy.
Because you can't leave the Sanji Puddings alive.
You can't let them alone.
If they have 2, 3, 4 Sanji Puddings, you're getting absolutely smoked.
You evaporate against that deck because they just get so much Dawn value every turn that like, dude, you play with 10 Dawn, they play with 14.
Yeah,
you know? And like,
there's no way you're catching up.
You're just going to lose that battle. So I think decks going into EB have to be one of those two things against GP. And so that's why I think a lot of people, there's been a lot of hubbub around Lucci.
Yes.
Who has seen a resurgence in the current meta as well.
Definitely, yeah.
But I think even more so in the next set.
Yeah. And I think a deck that we are no stranger to and will not be seeing it go away is Shanks.
Yeah.
I think the build is going to look a lot different.
I think so, yeah.
Going into EB. But man, a lot of these Shanks decks that I've been seeing and playing against, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
They're playing the stage.
Yeah, minus 1k.
Yeah.
I think so to talk about Shanks builds, so Lucci, you know, when they remove things, they're like, okay, we got to minus the cost. GP Luffy has stage, which makes it harder. You have to do whatever your math you're doing plus 2, right? But for the red control decks like Marco and Shanks,
he doesn't care.
They don't care about cost. So the stage doesn't help protect your characters.
Yep.
And all they care about is power.
Yep.
And so Shanks plays the stage, or I've seen Monet as well.
Yeah.
And that 1k is so important because Sanji Pudding is a 5/7, 7k body. You minus 1k with the stage, 6k, and then now you can Beckman it.
Yeah.
Or you can play Building Snake, and then Building Snake with Marco takes care of it.
Yep. And then with the Marco leader, you just use leader ability, turn it to a 5, it dies to 7 beard.
Just immediately dies to 7 beard. So I think these decks, these red-based control decks are going to come back in vogue rather than these sort of like rush builds that we're seeing with Shanks.
Yeah.
And it's just specifically designed to kill Sanji Pudding on sight.
Yeah. I don't know any other Marco build other than Animal Marco. I don't know what that deck plays. But I know 7 beard is crazy.
I am curious though with the builds for Marco. Like again, we never really saw this specific meta with the bans in Japan.
Right.
But I imagine they look a lot like the OP11 builds that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
So a lot of new gates. We're gonna see the Sanji combination with Sanji bringing out like a Rayleigh or another new gate.
Sanji into Rayleigh is disgusting.
Yeah,
that is so gross.
And in combination with leader ability, means like the range that Rayleigh hits things is really scary. I think like The thing that's interesting about that is if these decks are all trying so hard to deal with this green-purple Luffy,
Yeah.
suddenly Blackbeard comes out to play again.
Right? Like Blackbeard is, on paper, we've already seen historically does really well into Lucci.
Yeah.
Does really well into Control Shanks.
Yeah.
I don't know about Marco, but probably does well into Control Marco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This is the word on the street is that the Blackbeard matchup, depending on your deck build, can do well into green-purple because of one specific card. Do you know what it is?
Is it Liberation?
It is Liberation because Liberation doesn't care about what cost you put something at. It only cares about original cost.
Yeah, so Liberation will be able to remove Sanji Pudding and a 4 cost.
Yeah.
However, I think if the GP Luffys are pretty careful, you can just spam the Sanji Puddings and they can only remove 1.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry too much about it, but you do have to worry about spamming 5-4, 5-3, etc.
Yeah, and I think early on when people aren't as aware, I think that's gonna happen a lot
for sure. I think so. Liberation is a very powerful card
because it's so tantalizing to be like, okay, I play Sanji Pudding, I use leader ability, I have 4 Dawn, do I just not play a card here? I think it's a little weird for green purple, and giving Blackbeard more time is exactly what it wants. So
so I mean, you just have to be kind of cognizant of that. Maybe not play too hard into Liberation, but that might just be enough time for Blackbeard to
I'm not saying this, by the way, makes Blackbeard favored into
not at all.
There's no way.
Yeah.
But it's still there's counterplay there. So I think this meta is going to be actually very interesting. There's actually a couple of things that put a wrench into all of this too, which is just, we talked about availability issues. Mm-hmm. How many people are going to be actually down to spend? Dude, these pre-release prices are insane.
They're so crazy.
I've seen Sanji and Pudding for 50 plus.
Base rarity. It's an SR.
Brother. Yeah. That's just insane to me. There's just no way that price sticks, but maybe it does.
Yeah, it's hard to really tell because we don't really have good numbers regarding allocation.
Yeah.
Rumor is that the pull rates are really poor.
Yeah.
And really the only new deck that people want to play is GP Luffy.
Yeah. And so, so think about it this way. You need a case to have a playset of the SECs. Mm-hmm. Let's say you play 3.
Yeah.
That's how much is that going to run you? I haven't seen the pre-release prices. 100? They were close to 100, no?
Maybe 60 to 80 per.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, let's be conservative, say 60.
Yeah.
So now you need 3. That's $180. You want 4 of those Sanji Puddings. People are selling them for another 200. Are you really
You need the
paying,
Namis, $20.
Are you really paying $500 for this deck that you're gonna play for 2 online regionals before we move into OP11?
Maybe not.
Yeah. The deck will still be relevant. We see in OP11, but that's a lot. So it makes me think. Okay, there's gonna be the bourgeoisie.
Yep.
The bougie bitches.
Yep.
Gonna be playing GP Luffy.
Yeah, and they're not playing base rarity.
Oh no, they're gonna be playing all alt arts.
Yep.
Mangas.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there's gonna be the rest of us.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be all clawing at their heels with these other decks.
Can I have some more?
Little Timmy. Can I get another GP Luffy?
I need some more.
And then you got the weirdos who are playing Blackbeard, who are now trying to farm the poor.
Yeah, the Blackbeards are truly gatekeeping the control decks, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, they're like the scabs.
Yeah. I mean, but these are kind of decks that we've already seen do well in this set, right? Lucci is prevalent, Shanks is prevalent, Blackbeard is prevalent, Animal Marco, goated.
I don't think the Animal Marco is going to continue to play Animal Marco, but yeah.
We've seen Zoro do well as well, right? I think that maybe the introduction of certain support cards in EB will cause, I think, decks like Vegapunk to be played. You'll see quite a bit of Vegapunk. Enel is a big mention as well.
Yeah.
With all of the cards that we talked about earlier. And I want to briefly mention Nami. I think Nami is not talked about a lot in EB because of the prevalence of GP.
Yeah.
But like we said earlier, right? If people can't get their hands on
GP
English
Luffy,
GP product, Nami suddenly becomes really tasty, right?
Kind of like Blackbeard, it just farms all these decks that would do well into GP Luffy.
Exactly. Yeah. So
you thought the Shanks matchup was bad now?
Oh man, it's gonna get so much worse, brothers. It's gonna get so much worse.
You take out all your rush cards, hoping to control GP Luffy, and then you play against a Nami round 1, and you're like, well, time to pack it up.
Yeah, peel off, Gaia, peel off, Gaia, swing, it's good. All stars.
Draw down.
You're done. You're
cooked. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyways, that's it for us. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe if you got this far. Also, go ahead and check out the Patreon. It'll be in the link in the description. And I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye-bye.